United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Bob?
Dear God, we thank you for bringing us here tonight. We ask that you give this council the wisdom and the strength to do the right things for the city of Newman. We also ask that you watch over Nick Candia's wife. She had surgery yesterday and she's on her mend. So watch over her, God, and we thank you very much. Amen.
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 Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Graham.
Here.
Candia. Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Caden.
Present. Thank you. Conflicts of interest? Seeing none, we'll move on to ceremonial matters. Seeing none, we'll move to items from the public, non-agenda. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now's the time to do it. Seeing none, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the December 9, 2014 meeting. Council direction.
I move to accept the consent calendar as read.
In a motion, is there a second?
I second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Go to item 9, public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2015, next to number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4. Chief.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Before you tonight is a nuisance abatement. The notice informs property owners of the nuisance abatement procedures and their option to object at a public hearing, which would be tonight. Is it anticipated that many property owners will clean up prior to this meeting, which most of them did. We do have one for you tonight, which is 1284 Duckline Circle. We have some pictures. Weeds, tall grass. So
Are they still living in the house?
I believe it's vacant. No, I don't know on this one, to be honest with you. I thought it was vacant, but maybe not.
Because I saw, the car was in the driveway, and I was just...
So we didn't get any response over this one was an extended period because of the break, so it's been hanging out for a while, and it hasn't been cleaned up as of yesterday, and we haven't received information back from the owner, so that's why it's before you tonight.
Okay.
And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for the chief? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing. Bring it back to council for direction.
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2015, next number, declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Item 10A, regular business. First reading and introduction of ordinance number 2015, next to number, amending Title 9, Police Regulations, Chapter 9.01.070, handbills, distribution of the City of Newman Municipal Code. Stephanie.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is the first reading of the proposed handbill ordinance amending 9.01070. On November 18th of last year, the council was presented with a number of potential revisions to the existing handbill ordinance. Based on council direction, 5 amendments have been proposed. They include handbill style and placement, prohibition of distribution of handbills to residences with no soliciting signage, prohibition of distribution to residences on the Do Not Disturb registry. Excessive distribution would be considered littering, and the addition of enforcement and penalties to the handbill subsection of the code. These additions have been prepared in conjunction with the city attorney and existing case law. Therefore, staff recommends that the city council introduce the ordinance and hold the first reading of ordinance 2015 next to number, amending chapter 9.01070 of the Newman Municipal Code. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Stephanie, obviously, under the ordinance, this applies to those who come in and get the permit to do so, but there's really no way we're going to be able to control the people who just fly into town, and other than if somebody calls and reports them, if we catch them.
Yes, so because handbill distribution is different than like soliciting, they don't have to get a business license to do that. So there's no permit that we could require for them to distribute. Essentially, if they are disturbing folks with the no soliciting signage or on the registry, that would be how we would enforce that. Or if it's becoming excessive when we see flyers everywhere, then they could be cited for littering under Section 374 of the California
Okay, so
Penal
because
Code.
we have no control of that, they're not aware of our ordinance.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to go about it is we would tell businesses as they come in that, hey, you can't be going door to door and putting flyers everywhere. But yes, it is a difficult thing to monitor, given that we can't prohibit the free speech element of distribution
Yeah.
or handbill distribution.
So it's pretty much a useless ordinance, really.
It'll tighten it up and allow residents to have a method of enforcement. They can, file a complaint, call dispatch, and people can be ticketed. Because we added the provisions in the code where they can be cited. So I think it would be more of a responsive type of ordinance.
Yeah. Okay, any questions or comments of Stephanie? I know, Casey, you had some issues with a particular item, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say, but what's considered excessive littering? I mean, is it just if they hit so many cars or so many houses?
Cars would be prohibited because that's already in the code.
Right.
So that's the good part there. And I believe the definition in the penal code is that if it gets like in the gutters, it is kind of based on the officer's perception, obviously, as with many codes. But it would be if it becomes more of like a refuse issue, that you see them all over the road, or they're plugging up storm drains, you see them all over a park, they could be cited. But I think I'll defer to public safety for that, but it is more the discretion of the officer.
It is. I mean, I don't know that we're going to have that type of issue here in this town. If you go to a big, larger city where they're handing out stuff and people throw them on the streets, I think that's more the intention of it, to hold the business owner or the company responsible for people just discarding their flyers.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Council direction?
I move to approve the first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2015, amending Title 9 Police Regulations, Chapter 9, 01070, handbills distribution of the Newman Municipal Code.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie. Good. Item B, adopt resolution number 2015, next in number, a resolution authorizing city manager and the director of public works to execute a cooperative agreement with Caltrans for the Highway 33/Inyo Avenue intersection widening and traffic signal installation project. Yes, sir?
Good evening, City Mayor, City Council Member. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The City of Newman was successful in receiving Regional Surface Transportation Project funding for the Highway 33 Inyo Avenue intersection and traffic signal improvement project. This project consists of installing curb and gutter, sidewalk, and matching paving, handicap ramps, and the underground conduit for future traffic signals. So as part of the approval process for funding through the Caltrans, they require approval from the City Council to authorize the city staff to sign cooperative agreement and other statement for funding. This will help to ensure the project meet the required timeline for funding. The city is using toll credit for this project. It is why no local match is required. Therefore, it is recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution 2015 authorizing the city manager and director of public works to execute the cooperative agreement with Caltrans for this project. I can answer to any question you may have.
I know we've talked about this particular intersection quite a few times,
Yes.
but we have no idea what the warrant for Caltrans, what meets their standard to require a light intersection control lights to go in there?
Yeah, Caltrans said that the intersection must meet the traffic signal warrant. It means that that is based on the traffic in the future. So additional traffic study need to be submitted to the Caltrans.
Is it just the amount of traffic that travels, or are collisions involved as well?
So, I mean, that's a regional impact by the additional development, additional housing unit. So it takes time to
Well,
meet
obviously,
the.
there's not going to be any housing in that area. I mean, it's right on the highway. So I guess, is it based strictly the amount of traffic that goes north and south, east and west, or does traffic collisions also play a part in the warrants?
It's a part of the warrant. It is why we need additional kind of traffic study for that. It sounds like weird, but.
Oh, no, I get
yeah.
it. People have to die and there have to be crashes before we help prevent it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So we are closely working with the Caltrans. That's why this is another kind of the progress in terms of the project. So the next step is to clear the environmental process as well as the warrant on the traffic signal so that we can implement this project as a whole.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, council direction.
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2015, next number, authorizing the city manager and the director of public works to execute cooperative agreement with the Caltrans for the Highway 33 Inyo Avenue intersection widening and traffic signal installation project.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Thank you, Sim. Item C is consider establishment of community committee. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. At our last meeting, the city manager sat down with the subcommittee that you created for an aquatic center to go over some information. Some of the information we talked about was looking at potential measures that we could place on a ballot and funding mechanisms. As part of that and getting ready to move forward, we've worked with our attorneys a little bit, and we've identified November of 2015 as a potential opportunity if we want to submit a measure for the community to consider the funding mechanism for an aquatic center. But part of that would require there to be a look at all the projects, how the funding mechanism would work. And I think it would be appropriate to start encouraging or elicit the support and participation of members of our community to work with the subcommittee, that they could formulate a plan and then bring it back to you for your review and approval, and then ultimately submit that to the voters, the electorate, to see if that's something they would be willing to support. So what we're asking you to do is, if you so agree, what we would ask you, what staff would do is we would advertise for about the next 3 weeks and ask people to submit their names. It's a one-page application for citizen volunteerism or what?
Application for citizen service.
Citizen service, excuse me. They could just submit that, you would review those, and based upon however many came in, whatever you felt, we could appoint some or all of them to help the subcommittee formulate a plan that they could be brought back to you. Something this big and large, it was just our belief as staff that, the sooner we can get the community involved, the more support that we should be able to get for it. And this really should be something that comes from the community and not just comes from the city itself. So
I think it's a good idea, and it's a good opportunity for our community to get involved and have some input, so. And I know the question has been talked about for quite some time, and when it's, especially when it's 110 degrees outside, is when they really talk about swimming pools, so.
correct.
So hopefully people will have interest, so consensus of council is give city manager direction, go ahead and advertise.
What's your guys' means of advertising? How are you looking to advertise?
We'll work with the newspaper.
Okay.
We'll advertise on our website. We'll probably put an ad in the newspaper as well. So,
Okay.
There's 3 ways of getting on there that we can get it out. And obviously, we'll speak about it at our meetings.
Right.
I'm sure that Dean will be very interested in this. The Aquatic Center is a high-profile project that we've identified for this for this calendar year. So, and there's already a little bit of communication going on in the community about this. So, word of mouth, I think, will get through, and I'm hopeful we'll get a good turnout.
Great. Consensus of the council is?
I move that we consider the establishment of a community committee for the aquatic center.
I don't think it requires a motion. I think if the consensus of the council is to give direction to
Yeah.
staff. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, go forward. All right, thank you. We'll skip item 11. We'll go to item 12, items from the city manager.
It's that time of the year again. There was a flyer on in front of your desk today. City of Patterson is actually putting together an ethics training class. It's AB 1234. You're required to put 2 hours of ethics training in every 2 years. This is one of those ones where the state legislature, in all their wisdom, decided to put that mandate on you, but exempt themselves. So I know the mayor has already completed his. Again, Councilmember Graham has already completed his as well. There are some classes here, again, that you can go to. You can also complete this online as well. You just have to put the 2 hours in. And based upon what we learned from the website is you don't have to necessarily sit down at one particular time and put all 2 hours in at one particular time. You got 20 minutes one night, you can go in and put 20 minutes on. You got 20 minutes another night and accumulate up to two hours that way. So, but ultimately you are responsible to comply with AB 1234, and that's the ethics training on there. So again, I want to thank Councilmember Graham and Mayor Caton for taking care of that. Our staff also has to do the training, and we do ours online as well. So
It's pretty basic, it's pretty easy. First time I did it, I did it in like 50 minutes, and Mikey told me I couldn't do that. It has to be 2 hours. So what you could do is you could clock in
Yeah, just stall.
and take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let 2 hours run by, and then you're good. And you have to take the test along the way, so. But anyway, so if you haven't done that, probably ought to do that, so
Yeah.
keep state off our staff.
And I know our city attorney, her firm works with other cities in Stanislaus County and could potentially be putting on some seminars. If you cannot make it to the Patterson one and you prefer to do this in person, there will be other opportunities for you. And when she provides us the list, we will forward those out to those members who have not yet completed that training. Just real quickly, just in a letter from the Alliance here, thanking you for your support and the increased budget this year. Mayor, the Alliance will be in town on Friday showing one property. If you're interested, it'll be 2 p.m.
Okay.
And I can give you the address, and we can, they requested that maybe we go along with them to show our support for that
Yep.
project. The 8 cities, with the exclusion of Modesto out of the 9, and the county have been working towards a new solid waste agreement for the Fink Road landfill out there. A lot of this came aboard because Turlock made a decision. They started exporting their garbage to Merced County. They were able to get a much reduced rate over there, but there are some legal issues that go along with that, and liability issues that go along with that. So I know Turlock's considering coming back into Stanislaus County and going back out to Fink Road and the waste energy and both of those. So we're trying to wrap up an agreement here in the next 30 to 45 days and get that out to the board of supervisors. Just a reminder with Bob, Councilmember Martinez, Councilmember Graham, 2-on-2 next week, 4 p.m. Basketball is up and running. Rec basketball is up and running. The first week was this week. So if you're interested in watching a basketball game, you can watch the younger group, which is grades 3 through 5. They play at Hunt Gym. I think they start around 8:30 and probably go to about 1:30. The 6th grade through 8th grade, which is a co-ed level, plays at the high school gym, and their games are at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. Tomorrow night, there is a South County Corridor meeting here in town. It'll be actually here in the chamber. It's just a introductory meeting kind of thing, kind of giving you an overview of what South County Corridor is and what they're going to be studying, what the process will be. At this time, they're still talking about potential alignments and how to get across from one side of the county to the other, and basically how you're going to link I-5 to Highway 99. This has been an item that's been on the, it's been on the docket for a lot of years. When I say docket, it's StanCog agenda, and the mayor and I have had some good communications about that. And our biggest concern, or one of our concerns, is right now you have 132 and that links 99 and I-5 in the Bay Area, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, this South County corridor connecting over to the Bay Area, but I think people forget the Bay Area is big. And if you're going to go to South Bay Area, it's just as probably quicker to go through the Pacheco area and go around that way and get into South San Jose and the other part of the Bay Area there as well. Also, if you're northbound traffic on I-5, or you want to hit southbound I-5 traffic, there's really no good link in to do that in Stanislaus County. Most of the traffic's probably going to 165, which is Lander or Mercy Springs Road, and going through Hillmar and Merced County. So we've offered an alternative, which we think would be something that would sweep more down to our southwestern portion of the county, and somewhere in between Pink Road and maybe Stir Road, and have a connection there. We think that would be good for the county as well. So we'll continue to have that dialogue with the group. Next Monday is Martin Luther King. We'll be celebrating Martin Luther King Day, so City Hall will be closed on Monday. Another favorite of the council is the Form 700s. So you have till March to get those in. You can talk with Mike; he'll get those forms for you. And then lastly, the Do Not Knock registry is up and operational, and today we have probably over 160 people who have already signed up for that service, and so we'll keep tabs on that, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, comments for the city manager?
Mayor, just one more, and I didn't know if Lou was going to bring it up, but we've instituted online pay for our utilities. I think last month 20% of our accounts paid online. That's a free service for our residents. There's no charge to them to pay their account online. They can pay their account online. They can look at their usage. They can do lots of things. And when you pay online, it shows up instantly. So it's just another mechanism to try to make it a lot easier for our residents to pay their utility accounts without having to leave their house.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. Okay, we'll move to staff. Chief?
Just a few things tonight. Little update, our dispatch project was complete on the 31st. We switched over at 10 o'clock in the morning to Oakdale. Few hiccups here and there, just the way they do business and we do business, traffic stops and things like that, but learning stuff that we'll come together real quick on and get through it. But overall, it's a great transition. It's amazing to hear the lack of voices on the radio compared to when we were with the county. So you find yourself checking your radio to make sure it's still working. But so far it's been great. Oakdale's been really helpful and very friendly staff as compared to SR 911. They're calling our officers and walking them through things and trying to help them instead of just yelling at them on the radio. So it's been great so far. The other thing is our vet contract expired on the 31st, and we had a 2-year extension, met with True Blue now, veterinary, was GBAR in, and we extended the contract for 2 years with a 5% increase that was already written in. So we'll have them for 2 more years. With that, I'll be happy to answer. Oh, and the 31st and the holidays were very, very uneventful out here. I worked that night, and we had a few calls for service, but it was really, I commend the citizens for, there was a lot of explosions, but I think it was mainly aerial fireworks. Yeah. But not as many gunshots, I don't think, this year as in the years past, so thank everyone for that.
And the transition for dispatch numbers are all still the same?
They are not. The non-emergency line is 847-2231. You can still dial the other number and they'll transfer you over, but if you want a direct link, it's 847-2231. And of course, our 911 calls go directly to them, unless you're calling from a cell phone and they go to CHP, and they always have, until the carriers figure that out.
So the non-emergency is 847-2231.
Correct.
Okay.
And no more phone tree. It goes directly to somebody, so you don't have to press 0 and 1 for English, 0 and.
It does go directly to someone,
It goes directly to somebody.
because the old system was not user-friendly.
No, it wasn't.
It was terrible.
And can we send something out?
Right there, huh, Bob?
Send something out with our utility bills, just kind of a reminder, let people know. I mean, just.
It was put in the paper, it's on our
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah.
there's, we're gonna end up giving out the magnets, we'll change all the numbers.
I think just any way we
Right,
can
yeah.
let people know would
Right,
be
yeah.
helpful, so.
Don't be surprised if you could get a call just to say, I'm going to tell you hi, just to see if the system works.
I won't be answering, somebody in Oakdale will answer.
Non-emergency?
Non-emergency.
They'll
They'll
answer
probably
no-
ask you what your emergency is, because it's the same lines basically ringing in.
Okay,
so.
but you're not going to have to,
We won't come check on you, we'll be all right.
no, I don't care about that. But
Does
I
it
mean,
cost any more, Bob?
Yeah, yeah. It was just extremely difficult to get through down that system.
That was one of the largest complaints we had from
Yeah,
the citizens.
it was
the phone screen.
terrible.
And
was
we were
terrible.
told at the last SR 911 meeting, I said on the board that it was gone. I called it probably 3 days ago and it's still there,
Yeah.
so.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments for the chief? Thank you, chief. Stephanie?
Good evening. I just wanted to let the council and the public know that we have 4 open seats on both the Planning Commission and the Architectural Review Committee. So if anybody is interested out there, please pick up an application for citizen service here at City Hall, or you can download it on our website. Also, the Skate Plaza project received a $500 Nowhere to Ride grant, putting the project at 88.7% grant funded. So we're coming along. We're going to keep looking for funding. The goal is 100% grant funded, but I think we're doing pretty good so far. Also, project plans for the Skate Plaza are nearly complete. Bid packs will be prepared soon and subsequently put out to bid. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for Stephanie? Thank you. Lou?
At our last council meeting, council asked us to go back and look at our utility bills, billing procedures regarding customers that are on extended absence. Our city ordinances are broken up into 3 different groups, each dealing with each of those utilities. And in each of those groups, it mentions that even though a property is vacant or people are absent, we continue to bill the bare minimum charges for those properties. Back in 2012, we visited this issue and presented it to council, and council's direction at that time was to continue with this process and this billing in the same manner. The reason for it is that we believe that all the houses that are connected up to these services should all equally contribute for having the benefit of these systems available to them. Even though the property is absent, it's the same thing if you had a mortgage on your property, even if you're not there using the house, you still make your payment for it. In our particular case, like with our sewer systems, we have outstanding bonds. Same thing with water, we still have an outstanding loan with that. And that cost is going to be there whether we use the system or not, and that cost is built into that base fixed cost that is split among all the residents, and we all contribute to that. Also at that same meeting, the customer expressed some concern with the post office and getting their bills. The best way that we feel for customers to get their bills forwarded to them is just to notify us that you want it to go to a new address. We can make that change immediately. It doesn't cost anything. We can get it done really quickly for them, and then we can change it back when they come back, as long as they notify us. Also, with regard to utility bills, as Michael mentioned, a lot of our residents have already figured out you can log into our website, set up an account for free, and you can receive your regular bill at any address you want it to go to, but you can also get an e-bill as well to notify you that your bill is ready and the payment's due. And you can also make your payments online with a credit card or electronic fund transfer, and we see those payments instantaneously, like within 3 seconds of you hitting the submit button. It gets posted to your account. We still feel this is, really probably the best way to do it instead of notifying the post office to get all your mail forwarded over there. But as Michael mentioned, we had 20% of our residents that did sign up for that usage, or that actually used it last month, and we've got closer to 30% that have actually signed up to at least go in and look at their bills. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
I still think, believe it or not, the year 2015, there's a lot of people that don't have computers. A lot of people just don't use them, for one reason or another. And I think we're still a small enough community that I'm a firm believer in customer service, and I think that we need to go out of our way, if we can, to make the transition for people in the case of that particular resident who every year goes away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to get a $350 bill. Agreed, it's not our issue for them to notify the postal service that they're gone. That's the resident's issue. I get that. And hopefully if that resident, whoever the resident is, comes in to notify City Hall that they're going to be gone for an extended period of time, it'd probably behoove our staff to then enlighten them a little bit, the steps that they can take to get their billing sent to them to wherever they are, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Rather than just take the money and say goodbye and thank you, So, I guess part of me I felt, man, that just doesn't seem right. I understand the city's business side of it as well.
It seemed to be a perfect storm of events between the post office and...
Yeah. Again, what happens to the post office, it's the federal government, so go figure, So, but just in terms of the city services, water, sewer, and garbage, I guess if I was gone for an extended period of time, I came home and no, I didn't use my water, didn't use my garbage, didn't use the sewer, and they had a $350 bill waiting for me, I'd want to know how that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I know there's basic services, basic costs. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason it was that big was because it was for more than 1 month.
Yeah.
But yes, we will, I'll talk to my staff, make sure that we give them the opportunity to change their address there if they'd like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we've talked with Barbara, and hopefully we've got it all sorted out.
Good.
But, yeah,
Great.
just want to make you guys aware that there's other ways that they can handle that, and it would probably work a lot smoother for them.
Thanks, Lou. Any other questions, comments? Okay.
I have one presentation.
You do? All right, Kasum, you're up.
Yeah, city staff has worked on these two programs last 12 months. It's time to update to understand where we are at in terms of the water conservation as well as flooding issue in this community. So as you know, we have 4 water wells. Overall capacity of the flow capacity for the 4 water wells is 5,800 GPM, gallon per minute. So in the past, we experienced peak flow rate up to 3,500 GPM. So we have still some capacity, some rooms. So however, it's critical to understand what's going on in this community, especially in the drought emergency, the condition in Central Valley of California. So water supply and capacity. Our water service area is 2.1 square mile, which is 1,347 acre. So in terms of water productions, in 2013 and 14, as you can see here, so we save a lot of water through the water conservation program. So I'm going to talk about some more detail regarding the numbers. And also our staff carefully monitor the groundwater elevation because that one indicate our aquifer, which is a critical factor to produce the good amount of water during the drought condition. This graph shows that the water production rate last 7 years from 2008 to 2014. So as you can see here, the red dot line shows the water production rate in 2014. Even though we added more than 200 water meters since 2008, so we produced the lowest amount of water in 2014. So eventually we achieved more than 24% water saving in 2014 compared with 2013. So state governor recommended to cut the water use by 20%, but we exceeded that recommendation last year. So this is a future project associated with the water system. As you know, the Northwest development, we are developing the master plan for that. And non-potable water well for large tough areas is like the Sherman Park. Is still, we are looking for some grant funding for this project in the future. And the city staff submitted the grant application for smart water meters. Sometimes it's called as AMI, automated metering infrastructure. As of today, our staff checking the water meter one by one, open the lid, check the number, and summarize the number so that we can issue the water bill. And once we implement this project, we don't have to send our crew, just to press one button. We collect every single information from 3,200 water meters automatically. And also we can respond to any leaks 24/7, 365 automatically because the system sends a text or email to our staff to respond to any leaking situation. And future surface water alternative, because just in case the worst scenarios, if the drought condition is prolonged for a long time, we need to find out some alternative, which is surface water. This is just an option, so we are looking for that option as well as a backup. And also the city staff working on low impact development project, which include water conservation, water quality improvement, flood protection, groundwater recharge, etc. So that is related to the Prop 84 grant opportunity in the future. The staff will keep updating this issue in the future. This is regarding the flooding issue in Newman, community rating system. So as you can see here in the middle, this is Highway 33. There's a longitudinal, kind of long strip of a flood zone along the Highway 33. This flood zone is caused by Oristemba Creek overflow in the past. This major, the blue area, the flood zone, is caused by San Joaquin River overflow. So I'm going to address, I'm going to explain where we are in terms of how to protect our citizen facilities, property through several projects and the program. The CRS, the Community Rating System Program, is a voluntary program for National Flood Insurance Program communities. So as you remember, the city of Newman became the first CRS community in Stanislaus County last year. And eventually, the FEMA Region 9 approved the city of Newman as a CRS community with a 5% discount on the flood insurance premium from May 1st, 2015. So this is just the beginning, because whenever the staff submit the annual report every year, there is a high chance to move to the next level, 10%, 50%. This is a good sign because we can apply the 5% discount every single policyholders. For example, as of December 2014, there are 163 flood insurance policyholders, which is covering up to $37 million in this area. And in the past, there were 23 paid losses, approximately $330,000 in this community. So this is direct the help on our community, but at the same time, the city is looking for the permanent solution in terms of a flood protection. For example, the Oristemba Creek levee project can remove entire flood zone in Newman area. In order to implement this project, the city staff worked with Mid-San Joaquin River region stakeholders last year, and we successfully put this project as one of the highest priority one among over 40 the project. One of the reasons we worked with the stakeholders in this area is that the federal government only cover 50% of the funding, which means $22 million. So if we have a chance to get additional funding from the state, maybe the 20% or $21 million will be covered by this grant provided by the state. As a backup, we also applied West Side San Joaquin Integrated Regional Water Management Plan. We successfully added this project to that plan. That means in the future, in the near future, if we have a chance to get the Prop 84 grant money, still we can add that money to the $44 million so that we can implement the levee project. Hopefully we can remove entire flood zone in this area in the future for this community. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Any questions or comments for Kassan?
Where would the levee project run? Do you have information on that?
Yeah, the levee, I can provide some more details in the future, but the levee, the Oristemba Creek is not within the city boundary.
Right.
It's a northern area of the city boundary. However, when the Oristemba Creek flooded, the water overflow onto the Highway 33 and they flow down to
Right.
the street, the Newman areas. It is why the levee project will be implemented actually outside boundary of the
Right.
city.
The levee project's projected to be on the west side of Highway 33.
Yeah, so here, these areas.
Actually, it'll be immediately east of the CCID canal
Right.
with Councilmember Graham. So it'll be on the inside, if you will.
Right.
Our side of the CCID canal, all the way down to the Wasteway. Up north, it passes Stern, goes up to the alignment at, is it Anderson? What's the one?
Anderson.
In Anderson Road, and then shoots across to the highway there.
Okay.
So, again, as our Public Works Director, so we can provide you a future map in the future
Yes.
if you like. I believe that document's also on our website in case anybody in the community is watching this and wants to see what it looks like. I believe that document's online as well.
Yeah. So $22 million is already approved
Right.
by the federal government. So there is a high chance to get additional funding, but how much? It depends on the state, the funding available in the future.
Any other questions or comments? Think soon.
There's one more thing. There was some concern regarding the tree fall or tree branch fall last year. So as you know, we had a high wind day last year in December 11th. So fortunately, we didn't have any major fall, so nobody hurt. And our tree pruning program worked, really well so far. So we will keep working on that. However, if you have any concern in the future, the city staff can set up any field meeting so that we can address to the concern on site immediately.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Okay. We'll go to council member comments. Casey, anything?
The baseball issue, it looks like it was kind of resolved at their meeting. Did you get information from that?
Yeah, last I spoke with a member of the baseball board at their prior meeting, they had 10 to 12 people show up that are willing to participate and help run the league this year. I don't know how many are going to sit on a board, but they were all there willing to donate their time and energy to getting the baseball season going. So
Good.
sign-up start this weekend, and I think they'll run for the next 3 weeks.
Sounds-
So, and I know they're going to be doing some advertising in the local newspaper, and they're going to get our staff a schedule so we can post it on our counter and the like.
Good deal. I had one other concern. Jensen Road at 33 in Sherman Park, where it crosses over. A lot of high school kids cross there to head to school and head down Jensen and that. And with the fog, I know that's county, but, it's going to be future area that we're going to expand into. We worked, I think you had mentioned before that there was a plan to put something out there before as far as warning crossing, something like that.
Like you said, the challenge is we're working with the county on there.
Right.
I know the county had a plan to do some improvements on their particular side of it. Let me talk with the Public Works Director, Machado, see where they're at with that particular project and see what we can do to maybe expedite that to get that going a little bit
Yeah,
sooner.
something out there would be good before a
Okay.
kid gets hit crossing there.
Sure enough.
Because it's the county, but it's our kids.
Sure enough.
Anything else? Okay. Roberta, anything?
I don't have anything tonight.
Bob?
Definitely forgot to ask you, Louis J. Newman Hall.
Yes.
That project, how is it progressing?
It is, it's coming along nicely. I plan on having some photographs for the council's review at the next meeting. I believe all the plumbing has been replaced, all the demolition's obviously done. The facade on the outside is, I believe, already stuccoed or ready for stucco. I'm going to be getting paint selections here pretty soon to confirm the color. We've already confirmed some colors for the inside for the doors and things like that. It's coming along. They've done a lot of work. Demo was a major part. There was a lot to take out, that needs to be replaced. Ceiling grid is currently being put in. I believe the lights have already been starting to be installed, all the new recessed lights, because I don't know if you remember, some were hanging and some were recessed. It ends up, since that addition in 1981, it was like half the building was one thing and the other half was something else. So now everything will match, so that'll be good. But it's coming along.
Okay, the other question, the new rates came out as far as what they're going to be charging.
Mhm.
Have you received any feedback from the general public as far as yay, nay, or what their concerns or anything else as far as what the rentals will be for the building?
I will defer to our finance director on that, since that's more his domain.
Still early on, but of the people that have come in, doesn't seem to be an issue with them.
Okay.
It's still a good deal for what it is.
Yeah, I just would be concerned, sometimes people are concerned that when there's an increase, that maybe it's more than it should be. But I know justification is there for it to be where it's at, but.
Yeah. I think some of the good points about it is that we decided to do a 2-day rental on Saturday and Sunday, because we had a lot of people that request that, to be able to come and have the time to set up and also have the time to come back and tear down after the party, not have to stay there till all hours.
Okay, thank you. And the other item was police cameras. I'm going to go back to that because I brought it up before, and I think it's something that we should look at. I just don't want to get down the road someplace and have a concern, and so we're sorry we didn't look at something like that for our police officers, be it body cameras or cameras on the cars, but I'm just saying, I just think that it's something that we should take a look at it. I know there's been some information in the paper about some type of funding from the federal government for these programs, so I just like to see staff take a look at that.
Yeah, I know Chief Richardson's already looked at that once. Chief, why don't you just dust it all off and maybe give us 30 days to dust that off.
that's
Look
great,
Look
yeah.
at the numbers again and bring them back to you, and at least give you a presentation of what kind of numbers you would be looking at. And again, it's one of those situations where, yeah, I'm going to buy you the $30 camera, and they're going to be more than that, but it's going to cost you $100 a year to operate. So those are some of the things that we're going to present to you, is not only an upfront cost, but what it costs to maintain a system like that over a long period of time. So let the chief have a little bit of time to dust it off, and we should be able, 30 days, you should be able to come back to him with some updated numbers. What do you think?
You know,
Okay.
I know, Chief, that a lot of larger police forces have looked at this, and they're really considering it. It's not just something that's going to die and go away. So what I'm saying is, I'd like us to be on the cutting edge as far as looking at this item.
Certainly.
Thank you. That's all I have.
On the cutting edge.
You know what the cutting edge is?
I like that. Cutting edge, is there a motion to adjourn?
Would you have anything?
I don't have anything
Okay.
tonight.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.